I came back with a plan. And then when we come back, the Hype Bros was presented to us. He didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it.
Oh, really?
We weren't going to say no. Here's an opportunity. We both looked at it. We're not going to turn down an opportunity. Like I said, you don't know when these are going to come across.
Right.
You got to take it. You got to make the best of it. And, I mean, here's two guys that are literally polar opposites. He had the path that I didn't have. He would have been the first guy to hate on me when I came into FCW because of where I came from. I would have looked at his path and not appreciated his as much because of what I had done outside of here. So here's two guys that are coming from different walks of life, but we had to look at it as a positive. He can help me with this. I can help him with that. Even as the new guy, I can bring something to the table. We can make this work. And it was kind of like we didn't have a lot of big opportunities as the Hype Bros. But I know I learned a lot from him. Here's a guy that made it a little easier on me getting called up, because I got the veteran guy on the team. And hopefully, I was lighting a little bit of a fire under him to, give him another life, give him another opportunity and kind of hopefully motivate him a little more. But I think we reached the point where there was no more that could be done with that tag team. Even though we didn't really accomplish much, I don't think there was much more to learn from one another.
It's funny because when I hear you say all this, I realize it was kind of doomed from the beginning, because I'm a firm believer, if you're not 100% invested what you're about to do, it's not going to work. And you saying right off that you guys, neither one of you really wanted to do it. You really weren't believing in it, but you were going to do it because the opportunity was there.
Well, Zack had already been a tag team champion. He had most of his goals would have to come from being a solo act. I had never, ever wanted to be, a tag team wrestler. I had done the team thing for a long time.
Right.
I wanted to be me. I wanted to I wanted to be unfiltered and bring my game to the table the way I wanted to do it, not have to change how I do things for a tag partner. But that being said, we knew that the opportunity that was on hand, and we really did do our best to try and figure this thing out. How can we play off of each other to make this thing work? Zack had no off days for a while. He was doing his road loops, and then he'd come do NXT shows.
Wow.
That was a big sacrifice on his end.
Yeah.
And I was doing everything I could to study tag team wrestling, and I didn't want to be a guy that was going to doom his career. I knew what he was going through. I was trying to do as much as I could to meet him halfway and bring, my mentality to the tag team and anything. I mean, it got to the point where when we would do loops together, when we travel together, he's filling me in on what the business is like, especially when I was new. He's filling me in on what the business is like, what to expect, what to look for walking into matches. I was kind of bringing him up to speed on life outside of the ring. What have you been doing with your money? Where have you been investing it? How have you prepared for a life after wrestling?
Wow.
This is what a stock is. This is what a bond is. This is what a municipal fund is.
Yeah.
Whatever I could do to try and give back, even outside of the ring. And, we hung out sometimes outside of the ring, which was pretty hilarious because the things that I like to do outside of here, he hates, and I bring him around sometimes, and he'd love it, but he would never want to admit it to this day.
The odd couple.
Oh, it was great. And I wish we kind of, we never really got to tap into that during the tag team, which we didn't want to be a comedy act, so we kind of tried to prevent that from happening too much.
But it could have worked.
It could have worked. And for me personally, it kind of, I don't know, I guess when I came, especially to the main roster, we didn't really like how the Hype Bros turned out to be. Here I am, everything we've talked about, I developed like this stay hype mantra where I could never get complacent, where I had to constantly outwork everybody, where I had to be a straight-ahead student. I had to have all the records on the field. I had to be able to play every position and break all the weight room records. I had to do all this stuff to create this identity, to create an opportunity. I had this stay hype mantra, which still to this day means the world to me. I swear by it. and Stay Hyped all of a sudden kind of became, oh, I'm always energetic. I'm always laughing. I'm always making jokes. It ruined my identity, I felt like. And I don't know how we got to that point. When I noticed that it was starting to go down that path, I felt like it was too late. And it was something to this day that, you know, I hate that. He started to feel that way too with where this tag team was going. And, you know, he said it, I've said it. We both think the day that team died was the best, like, career-wise, one of the best things that could have happened to us. I got my little solo run afterwards. I had my Mania win.
Right.
I got to go off and do my thing, start to show them a little bit of what I can do, and it's way more than I possibly could have done in the Hype Bros. You know, shoot, even Zack, look at him. He won the IC title at Mania by himself when we were still in the team.
Right.
So right then and there, a Mania win for me and a Mania win for him. What? We don't need each other.
Yeah.
You know, let's.
But you know what's beautiful? The lessons that you learned outside the ring. Right now, you sharing the things that he shared with you, and then you helping him, like, financially, like him giving you the insights of the business and you giving him the insights financially about, like, how have you prepared. That's amazing. That, think about it, outside of your careers, you guys helped each other on a human level. That, think about if all of that was taken, if you didn't know what he gave you, if you didn't know all of that stuff and he didn't know all the things. I mean, it's, you hear what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, some things for me, I think there are times that things happen for a reason, and I think in that case, it was more than just wrestling. It had nothing to really do about wrestling. Yes, it showed you what you don't want. You want to be a singles. That's great. And yes, you learned more about the business, and yes, you helped another human being with him financially that could set him up for life. So that's a really big thing that happened with Hype Bros that's way outside of wrestling.
And I think years down the line, hey, me and Zack Ryder might be friends.
Yeah.
You know, in a personal standpoint. I'm just thinking of all the stuff that has happened as a team, you know. He hates asking me for things, but every week I felt like I was getting a text like, hey, man, hey, you still got that hookup at Universal? Hey, you got tickets to that show? Can you help me out? And he hated asking me for it, but he'd still do it. Not always. I never give him a hard time about it then. But anyways, like, but yeah, like when we'd have these matches together, we weren't looking at each other as friends or, you know, what our relationship outside of the ring. I mean, we looked at each other as, this is the guy holding back your career. So it was really, we separated it. I mean, it was really personal. We had that match on the kickoff at Clash of Champions. I don't think there was it was live rounds all day. I mean, it was in there. It was physical, man. Like, I mean, I felt every shot he gave me. I know that.
Yeah.
And you know it's coming. I mean, we were amped up, and but it's kind of interesting thinking about it now. Like you said, that here we have this relationship of, we knew how much we may have helped each other, you know, outside of the ring, but at that time, yeah, it was,
because you're focused on career,
mm-hmm.
and that's what happens, right? You get consumed with that.
Absolutely.
And it's understandable. But sometimes when you can take a step back and look at it and go, wait, this is not just about the career. Like, look what came out of it.
Yeah.
And that, for me, I would say, just appreciate that for what it was, and the learning lessons too that came out of that.
Absolutely.
And then now it fires you up. Like, you were fired up. I want to be a singles guy. This is what I want to do.